What is going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the I Formation Podcast here with Ben Hall and my guy, LaRon McClain. Today, we're bringing on a big-time special guest, but before we do that, how you doing today, LaRon?
Man, I'm good. Can't complain, man. God is good. Another day, another opportunity, man. Another opportunity. Just excited about this interview today, man. I'll tell you that.
So now for our interview, we are bringing on Marshall head coach Charles Huff. How are you doing today, Coach Huff?
Doing great, man. Excited to be on, man. Appreciate you guys having me.
All right, so I'm gonna let LaRon start with the interview.
Oh man, Coach, man, again, man, thank you for coming on with us today, man. I know you got a busy schedule, recruiting season, getting them good players in and everything. But I just want to start off first, man. Just saying a few things about you, man. Coach Huff is the 31st head coach of this university, Marshall. Actually, he's the first African American coach at this university, which is huge. Which I found out and everything. And Coach, for real, how you doing today? How you doing? How everything going for you today?
It's going well, man. We are obviously getting our guys back on campus from the break, from the winter, planning, this next round of recruiting, and just got our mid-year guys in. So we got a bunch of our high school guys here. So things are going well.
Yes, sir. So I wanted to, start off and ask you, I see that you play the position, the greatest position, I think, on the planet, fullback. when you started at Hampton and everything. So how was that? I want to ask you just the first question. How was that transition? I see that you was you was a team captain your senior year, but you moved to center. How was that transition from fullback to center then? In your
I got bigger and slower. So bigger I got, the slower I got. No, I went into college and I was a walk-on who ended up earning a scholarship, but I was a undersized lineman. So when I got to college, I was 6'2", 245, 250. And I went as an old lineman, but obviously, in the transition of getting stronger and bigger, when we got into some, this was the back end of the fullback days. Not many people use it now, but, it was an opportunity for me to create some value for myself. We needed a fullback in short yardage situations that, was athletic enough, to kind of, move laterally, had some agility. So it was a role that was given to me and I kind of mastered that role. And although it wasn't, 100 plays a game, I built some confidence in my coaches, and it allowed me to continue to grow and develop, as an O-lineman until I was able to put on the size over the time, in order to become, the starting center my senior year and team captain. But it really taught me about the importance of just kind of mastering your role, whatever your role may be. It's not too small, not too big. Do what's given to you very well and you'll get more.
Yes, sir. I understand that completely. I was team captain my senior year at fullback at the University of Alabama and everything. So I took pride in that. I didn't touch the ball at all, just block. And it was. I'm glad the guys voted me in. So I know about the pride in that for sure. You go ahead, Ben.
So yeah, kind of just speaking of when you were at Hampton, they were in the MEAC at the time. So lately in college football, we've seen some big name recruits like Travis Hunter, Kevin Coleman committing to HBCUs. I just wanted to kind of hear what your thoughts on seeing that, which we really have never seen ever.
Yeah, I think it's just, it's a change in time. I think now between social media and, cable TV and the networks, I think kids are getting exposed to more. Kind of when I was growing up, the only time you got an opportunity to see smaller schools, HBCUs or any other smaller school play on TV maybe one time a year. I know for me, the only time we got to see an HBCU play was the Bayou Classic where Grambling and Southern played, and that was one time a year. So I think it speaks a little bit of the exposure that the smaller schools are getting, and that comes from, change and like I say, social media, that comes from change in, the cable TV network, the internet, podcasts like these, that's creating exposure for people who may not know or may not be able to see some other things. You think about it, if you've never seen a commercial for Disney World, you probably don't want to go to Disney World. You don't know what you're missing because you don't see it. And I think what's happened is the exposure has opened up some eyes to a lot of different people, at a lot of different places, HBCUs included.
So now in your coaching career, you've been to a ton of college and you also went to the NFL. So I kind of wanted to see how different were things for you when you were with the Buffalo Bills coaching the NFL versus how all your time you spent in college.
Yeah, I mean, it's night and day. I mean, you think it's football, but it's really night and day, right? The NFL is a business. Those guys have a job. So it's just like them going to work at Apple or going to work at, any corporation, Tesla. They show up, they do their job, they go home to their family. In college, it's a little more of a developmental and maturation period. Obviously, recruiting is huge in college, which, bundles up a bunch of your time. Because it's so consistent now, especially with social media and different ways to communicate. But the NFL it's still the game of football, right? You still throw passes and still 11 on 11, but the NFL is a true business, and guys are making business decisions. And really, you have 52 or whatever the total number of guys on the team, independent contractors. Yes, we're all working together, but my contract protects me and my family. Your contract protects you and your family. And although you may be my boy, my teammate, if I come in the next day and that you've been cut, dang, man, all right, I got to go to work. In college, it's a little bit more relational. It's a little bit more, you kind of grow over time. You in the NFL, a guy may be there 1 year, 2 years, or 10 years. You don't know, and there's no, right, wrong, or indifferent why that guy is there, that amount of time. It's not mostly predicated on production, but NFL is a business, right? So the older you get, even though your production may be good, they start to take a business model and say, hey, well, he may only have 1 or 2 more years physically to do what he wants, so we may want to change out and get a younger guy. Well, in college, you're kind of developing that maturation and physical development over time.
Yeah,
So
and
you go around.
then just speaking of, like you say, I know you touched on recruiting, man. They labeled you as the number 1 recruiter in the nation. How do you, sir? You explain that. How do you get that title? Like, I see that you take pride in pride in it, and I see some of the names that you got in.
Yeah, I think one, you gotta be surrounded by good people and a good product. At the University of Alabama, we had some really good coaches. Obviously, Coach Saban, is the GOAT for our decade, my lifetime. So he was able to present a good product for us as recruiters to pitch or sell. Then you got to have good coaches around you, right? Because you're not recruiting by yourself. If I'm recruiting a quarterback because he's in my area, the quarterback coach is still going to be involved. So when the kid comes on campus, everybody's involved. So I think it's an award that is given to an individual, but it speaks of the collective, mindset of the entire thing. And then I think you just got to be really intentional about being relational. That's how you recruit well. You build really good relationships. And that's not just relationship with the actual recruit that you're recruiting. It's relationships over time. So I've been able to develop relationships over time with high school coaches, high school trainers, high school mentors, so that, maybe I met a guy 10 years ago and he doesn't have, a really, really good player for another 10 years. Well, that relationship that you develop and cultivate over time allows you to get the information, which ultimately allows you to tap into that student athlete, down the road. Well, hey, I know his trainer. Me and his trainer have been friends for 10 years. This guy can tell me, hey, mom and dad are really important in this decision. This kid is looking for, education. This kid's looking for playing time. This kid's looking for whatever. But being able to get that information and then also having that support for the kid to go back to a person that he trusts, right? Because when you meet a college coach, you've only known him for maybe a year. But if you can go back to your trainer or your coach, and your coach says, hey, I know Coach Huff. He's a good guy. I've known him for 10 years. He's going to treat you right. He's going to tell you the truth. He's going to love you up. That builds some comfort in them knowing who they're dealing with.
So you're going to be in.
So now, like, throughout your coaching career, really, you've coached a ton of great running backs, Saquon Barkley, CJ Spiller with the Bills, Najee Harris with Alabama. Kind of take me through how it's been for you, having these running backs improve with in your short time working with them.
Yeah, I think you got to develop a relationship, right? It's hard to coach a young man if there's no relationship, and a relationship is built on trust. So they have to trust that, the things that you're saying or the things that you're pointing out to them are going to help them become better players. And then you got to have, people or players that are willing to get better. I mean, if the kid already thinks he's, the best player in the country, then really not going to take much coaching. And then I think what happens is over time, you make a commitment to your craft, right? So even though you may be coaching a Saquon Barkley who is very physically gifted, right? You're not going to make him, what God hadn't already done. But if you're able to show him where he can make minor improvements, which ultimately become major improvements in his game, you do the same thing with a young man who may not be as gifted. You show him where he can make minor improvements to make him better. And I think you have to take pride in your craft and say, hey, it doesn't matter if this kid's a 5-star or the starter, or if this kid, the backup or may never play. My job is to make them a better person, player, and man. So what you do is you take pride in your craft and you find things that on each person's level that can help them get better. You don't coach them all the same, but you coach them all with the same, mentality and foundation. And I've been blessed over the years to be around some really talented football players who were open to being coached, which challenges you as a coach, right? If you got a really good player and you see he wants to get better, it challenges you to want to find ways to make him better, which ultimately, gets you a very good product on the field.
So now going off of that, you were a running back coach, a big time recruiter, all the associate head coach. What were the difficulties for you, like moving from that role to being a head coach this year at Marshall?
It's the same thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's always tough when you're not a coordinator, because usually when you are becoming a head coach, the school or the university that is searching or researching you is looking for what is your strength. Is your strength, offensive production? Is your strength, defensive production? So when you're not a coordinator, it's hard to balance showing your strengths without self-promoting. I think it's a tough balance because although I was the running back coach, did we have input in the offense? Yes, I was not the offensive coordinator, but I was able to bring value. So it's a tough job to kind of let people know what value you can bring without saying, hey, look at me, the great running back coach. Hey, look at me. So it's always a struggle. And I think ultimately staying true to who you are, continuing, to build relationships with people. Once those relationships are built, that allows you to tap into some more resources and other relationships. And then when you're able to verbally explain, your vision and why you think you're ready, I think that's how it happens. But it's difficult when you're not a coordinator because people are looking. The coordinator gets a lot of the credit for the success on and off the field, just like the head coach, right? If you're a successful head coach, you get a lot of the credit. Well, there's other people in the organization that help that as well. So I was just blessed enough to be able to develop some relationships with the right people who got me, in front of some people to be able to express my vision and why I thought I was ready to be a head coach, although I wasn't necessarily coordinating in the moment.
You can go, LeRon.
Yeah, man, that's huge. So has it ever been, just a quick question about just game plan, has it ever been a game where the offensive coordinator passing too much and you want to run the ball, or has there ever been, a competition like that in the game, with you being a running back coach, run game coordinator, and the guys calling a pass plays as a running back coach?
No, I think, the one thing that makes really, really good offensive staffs or offensive units is, we spend all week and we plan, and you plan out what you think is going to be successful, what you think your players can execute the best, what you think gives you an advantage, right? So to me, when you get to game day, you're working your plan. So if you have a comment or a suggestion, you need to make that Monday through Friday.
Okay, yes, sir.
Game day, we're all in this together. We had all week to kind of decide what we thought was going to be successful and what we thought would not be. So to me, when you get complete buy-in, it's my job as the running back coach to make sure that when we do call the runs, whether that's once or twice or 15 times, that my guys execute to the best of their ability. And the more buy-in you get, I think the better of an offensive staff and unit you'll have.
Yes, sir. You're gonna be it.
So this season, you guys played some extremely tough opponents, in the bowl game playing Louisiana, who was ranked at the time. But in the Conference USA Championship, you guys took on Western Kentucky and Bailey Zapp, who took off more than we've really seen a quarterback like that in a while. He broke some of Joe Burrow's records. I just kind of wanted to hear, what were the difficulties for you like playing against him?
Yeah, he's a phenomenal player. I think he's had a phenomenal year. I got a lot of respect for him. I got a lot of respect for his coach. I think they did a really good job. I think in the game, as the game flew, we lost our quarterback about halfway through, and our team just wasn't able to mentally recover from that. And when you play a good team with a good quarterback, a good offense, or whatever, even if you are having success, it's something that you got to do for 60 minutes. And I thought for 30 minutes, we were able to compete and really challenge, Bailey and the offense and the rest of the team. But mentally, after we lost our quarterback, we weren't tough enough to continue to move forward. And when you play a good quarterback, they take advantage of it. And when you play in championship environments and championship level talent, you got to be engaged mentally, physically, emotionally for 60 minutes. And when you're not, and the other team is, they take full advantage of it. And when you play a player of his talent, that's something that he's going to be able to do.
So also jumping back a little bit, I had to ask, at Alabama, you coached, like you mentioned earlier, under Coach Nick Saban. What was it like for you learning under, like you said, the GOAT of our generation?
Yeah, I mean, I learned a tremendous amount. It probably shaped my coaching career, especially as a head coach. I'll say the most. I had an opportunity to sit and watch the best that ever do it for 2 years. And I mean, I really took pride in watching everything, not just, well, this is how we practice, or this is how, I watched the way he walked. I watched the way he talked. I watched the way he addressed the team. I watched the way, he entered the room. I watched the way he managed the team with the win, with the loss, ups, downs, bad practice, good practice, off season, in season. I watched it all, and I took notes on it all. And I think it's the tough part. You are a blend of who you are surrounded by. So although there are a lot of similarities between what we do and what I do to what I learned from him, I can't be him, right? I'm not 70 plus years old. I'm not white, and I'm not coaching for 40 plus years. But there are some things that I can implement, or there's some things that I can emulate within my own character, within my own personality, right? People are not going to look at me and think Nick Saban. They're going to look at me and think Charles Huff. But there are some things that he has done and does that I can emulate in my own way to make sure that the structure and the foundation is what I want it to be in my program.
Like you were saying about like structure and foundation, if it was difficult, what was one of the most difficult things, taking, your culture, bringing it up to Marshall after they, hire you, bringing you in, saying, how was the locker room? How was the culture change up there for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was different. You're talking about coming from, Alabama, where you have, the typical type A, hey, I'm the best athlete, and, I'm here and I see my future to, come into a group of five where you have, good athletes. No one in our locker room had won a championship before, So this just was something they hadn't done. They'd been to the game, they've had success, but they hadn't won a championship. And as you know, LaRon, winning one changes the total mindset. Winning one gives you that confidence that you can win another one. Winning one shows you what the blueprint is. So coming here, and although this program had some success, just kind of instilling the things that help us be champions, is different than just getting to the game. Being a champion, as you know, it's every day. It's the way you walk in the building. It's the way you approach practice. It's the way you train. It's the way you go to class. It's the mindset you think on a daily basis. So getting our guys to separate, hey, championship game from champion life, is what, it's hopefully we've been able to do a little bit, and we're continuing to do here. I think, the guys at Alabama, it's a championship lifestyle. It's not just hey, we win championships. Those guys, they walk different, they talk different, they work out different, they challenge each other different. The level of expectation, the standard to how you just put on your shirt in the locker room is different. And just trying to get guys to understand that it's not just the championship game that defines you. It's how you live your life, how you practice, how we function as a team on a daily basis.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So my final question, I believe, I'm not 100% sure, the recruiting dead period ended last night, right? At midnight? Is that?
Yeah. Yep. Or tonight.
Yeah.
So
So
you're right.
Last night, midnight. Yeah, something like that. So what are the next few weeks and months going to be like for you? You have got, not like you said, you have guys coming in, and now you're also going to have to, or you're probably going to start recruiting again with the dead period ending. So what are the next few weeks to months going to look like for you?
Yeah, so the next 2 weeks, we were lucky enough, we signed our full class at the early signing day. So for us, these next couple of weeks is going to be getting an early start on the 2023s.
Okay.
At a group of 5 level, you're not going to have, 15 2023 commits, right? Not at this point in the season, but what you want to start to do is start to get a gauge, start to build that relationship that we talked about, right? So now this is probably the first or second time that you're going to get to really meet some of these 2023s. You may have met them in camp, they may have came to a game, but now you're going to get a chance to get out in their environment and get introduced to them and their academic, prowess. Not necessarily, hey, how you doing? My name is Coach Huff, but sitting down with their coach, getting their, counselor's information, watching them, kind of go through a workout or whatever it may be, so you can start to build that foundation with your 2023s. So now when you get back out in the spring, okay, hey, there's 10 kids in this area, there's 15 kids in this area, hey, there's only 1 kid in this area. So you can start to maximize or truly utilize your time going into the spring.
All right, Coach, I just wanted to ask you, I have a few like interviewing jobs coming up for a few positions down here in high school, down here in Tuscaloosa. And I was asking, is there anything that you can tell me, like key points, or anything that you can tell me that I could use to take into them interviews? I know I have a simple game plan of what I'm going to come, but is any advice that you can give me or up and coming coaches that, that's about to get ready into, roles of coaching?
Yeah, I would just be yourself. Make them hire you, not your representative, because you can go in there and you can recite everything that I would say or Coach Saban would say or, Coach Lombardi would say. But if that's not who you are, then ultimately it's not going to work. And you may go in there and you may be yourself and they may not hire you, which is fine. They didn't hire you. You'd rather them not hire you than hire your representative, because ultimately the job you get is the job you want to work for you, right? So for me, getting the Marshall job was great, but now I've got to be successful in order to continue to be here at Marshall, right? So if I'd have went in there and I'd have sold them on somebody that I was not, and now I get here and I'm somebody totally different, then it's not going to work. So just be yourself. Go in, confident with a plan, but be yourself. Make them hire you, not your representative.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for that advice. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hey, Coach, do you ever pop your head into the running back room and try to do a little coaching in there while you're at the head coach position? Do you pop your head in there?
I try to put my spin on the guys periodically, but I try to also allow. We have a phenomenal running back coach, Telly Lockett, who's coached a lot of running backs. I try to allow him to own his room, because ultimately he's responsible for the production of that room. So I try to let him own the room so he doesn't feel like he's got to look over his shoulder or feel like, well, if I don't say this right, Coach Huff is gonna, so I let him. I make my points. If I have a suggestion or I have a correction or whatever, I make it to him so that he can present it to the kids, because I want them to respect him in the position he's in, and I want them to feel like he's ultimately helping them create value for themselves and become better.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ben?
Yeah, so that is it from my side. LeRon, do you have any more questions?
Oh no, Coach, we ain't want to keep you. We ain't want to keep you too long. We know you're busy, man. You know what I'm saying? Get ready to recruiting and like Ben just told me, dead period here yesterday. So I know you're ready to get off this thing and get to work and get to work and everything. Coach, I just want to say, man, this is amazing, for our show, amazing for myself, just talking to you. I remember when Alabama hired you, man, I was like, oh my God, like my guys coming in. Then the backs that I looked you up and the backs that you have coached, man, it's amazing, man. I just wish wish I get up to the status of you with this running back coaching and everything. I've been coaching 7, 8-year-olds like this past year, man. So just the development part that you've been talking about, that's what I'm all about. Just teaching these young men try to be, you know what I'm saying, better man on and off the field. So I just want to say personally from us, man, thank you so much for coming on. You know, so I hope we can have you on in the future. You know, so
anytime, guys. Anytime I'll jump on. If you guys ever want to come up and do a show live here at practice or here on campus.
Oh man, yes sir, yes sir. Hey, I want to ask you. I know you're from Maryland. You a Ravens fan?
Yeah. I was gonna ask that too.
I am a Ravens fan by location, but when I grew up, there were no.
Okay, the Colts.
So I grew up a Dolphins fan because I was 2 hours from the Redskins, so they really didn't resonate as home. And there was no Ravens; they were the Browns. They hadn't moved yet. They didn't move until I was in college, you know. So I was gone. But I'm a Ravens fan by location. They're our home team, but they no Baltimore team when I grew up.
Yeah, so that's how I was. I mean, I was a Buffalo. I'm a Buffalo Bills fan down, you know what I'm saying, in Alabama. So
yeah,
I used to get rapped all the time.
Yeah.
But again, Coach, man, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on with us, man. God bless you, you and your team, man, and your progress and everything that you're doing up there.
Awesome. Thank you guys, man.
Yeah, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Now, it was awesome having Coach Huff on for the interview, man. That was great. Yeah. Clap for him. He was perfect, straightforward. Man, you could tell he's gonna be a good coach. Like you could just hear the way he's talking, how he just it's kind of like he's straightforward. He don't try to move around nothing, and and you could tell why he's a good recruiter. Honestly, the way he's talking to people, he's straight to the point. He talks well. Like I just think that was an awesome interview, and I really appreciate him coming on.
Man, if he would recruit me out of high school, like if he was at Marshall, I would go to Marshall. A detailed man. You know what I'm saying? Straight to the point. Know what he want. Know what I'm saying? And exactly how you need to do it. Great leader up there for Marshall, man. That was an awesome interview, man. I was at all. I'm really just listening to him, man. When he got that talking one time, I'm just still listening.
Yeah.
I forgot to go to a question, man. It was dope, man. Shout out to Coach Huff, man, at Marshall University. You know what I'm saying? Everything that they doing, man. First year getting to that Conference USA championship, man, had a tough matchup, you know. But he finished strong. I saw on the internet he got a little center for going to that game too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? First year. So you can tell that he's building some, you know what I'm saying, tremendous. And then like what he just said on the show, man, they signed everybody in the early period already. Yep. So they already geared up, ready for spring. And like you said, man, getting ready for the 2023 recruits, man. That's why the number one recruiter in the nation, man. Like playing then being under Saban, you know what I'm saying, the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? And I know he took a little bit from, you know what I'm saying, from him. And, you know what I'm saying? That's why he's a head coach now, first African-American coach up there, man. That's huge. That's huge also. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And the 31st head coach up there. So, man, coaching guys like Saquon Barkley, man, Najee Harris, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, CJ Spiller. He was like, I know everybody remember Spiller.
Yeah.
That fans, I'm talking
about. Right.
Doing this thing. So, man, that's crazy, man. That's crazy, man. We did all right on that, man. Give me some pound on that. Man.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, we killed it. We've been getting better with our interviews. Everybody watching, keep watching. Man, we got a ton of guests coming on. I'm telling y'all.
Yeah, we got a ton of guests coming on, man. That no lie, man. That was the highlight, man. We had Malik Rozier early this week, man. Just then getting coach on, man. That was dope. His coaching thing from playing fullback, playing the best position. I think you know some of the thing. That's why I looked at all pro teams. I see what was that? The PFF. They came out with the best position man. They ain't had a fullback on there. Juice or Ricard, man. There's only two of them.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They ain't have them on there, but look, they didn't even have Jonathan Taylor on. I think they had another back on there. Had the best grade, but that was that's crazy.
Man, if the Colts hand the ball off enough, they win that game. We're not even gonna jump into last week because this week we're kind of gonna be talking about coaching firings. But like, I don't understand how you have the best running besides Derrick Henry, the best running back in football, and don't use him as much. Like that. it shouldn't even be all right, we're gonna try to get away from that a little bit. Like it was series where they literally threw the ball 3 times and punted, or threw the ball twice and throw a pick on the second. Like that's terrible. You have the best running back who's currently available in football because Henry was out, and you don't use him. I don't like that. That's
I don't
terrible.
know how you just put it on. I don't know how they put it on Carson. I gotta watch this Hard Knocks episode just to
I
really
watched
see
it.
You watched it, man. How was it?
It was
Man?
good. It was good. I was hoping that we could see a little bit more of their kind of reaction after the game, but I guess it makes sense. You don't want to get all in their face after they just got kind of booted from the playoffs for real. But it was good. It was good.
So as soon as the game was over, they ended the show?
Well, the game was over, and then they went in the locker room, and Frank Wright gave a speech, and you could just kind of see guys' faces like sitting there like, we don't care. Like, come on, we lost.
Man, it's over. We finna go home, man.
Yep.
Like, and that's the worst. That's the worst feeling, man. That's why I got that. After that first year in the Ravens, man, we was in the playoffs all the time. Then leaving the Ravens and going to Kansas City, man, not going to the playoffs, man. We were bad. We're bad. Ty Haley got fired. Last 4 years in the season, Romeo Cornell took over. Then going to the Chargers, and then my coach get fired the first year. Noah Turner get fired. Shout out to Noah Turner. You know what I'm saying? He get fired, you know what I'm saying, in San Diego. So it was kind of crazy, man. I'm going to tell people right now, this is my word coming from my mouth. I should have stayed my ass in Baltimore.
Nah, he's been telling y'all that.
Yeah, shut up, LeRon, and just chill, man. Just let your play, you know what I'm saying, show for you, man. Right now they ain't want all the talking back then. You talk back then, you know what I'm saying? They try to do whatever they can again. But they brought in Vontae Leach, man, and that was good. You know what I'm saying, replacement, because bro did his thing, you know what I'm saying, with their running game. They got going, him and Ray, you know what I'm saying, and won that Super Bowl, but I should have stayed my ass in Baltimore. Man, to talk about get on this NFL now, man. How you feel about the firing going on, man?
Terrible. Man,
what one was a surprise to you?
Flores definitely number one. I went on our Twitter the one day and read that this was before week 18. So it was Sunday morning around 10 or 11. And they were talking about, and the one guy, Jay Glazer, who's been spot on with all of his, cause he's an analyst. He's been spot on with whoever he hears from is right on. So he said, Brian Flores is not fired yet, but he has a name to look at. And I responded with a gif of the guy man, Nick Cannon, what? So then he gets fired. And I thought it was I thought I was being pranked on Twitter, when the people make the fake accounts. I couldn't really believe it was real. And then it goes on. I'm like, what? Why? What?
Why, man? A guy that, you know what I'm saying? I just want people to just understand, they were 1-7. If you're on the team, I ain't never, probably the worst team record I probably been on probably was the Chargers. We probably won about 4 or 5 games. I don't even know. But when you 1-7, most of that locker room go check out, man.
Exactly.
Half of that locker room go check out, man, for him to have them guys ready each and every week to go on that winning streak and almost being in. If they win that one game and win the last game of the year, they probably in the playoffs.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Probably in the playoffs playing for, the last seed or something, probably playing for the good seed, but had some great wins. He got to be a great leader, man, you know what I'm saying? Because as soon as he fired, bro, I bet them GMs and them other hiring, you know what I'm saying, like the Bears would be a good fit for him. I know Private called him, but I just don't understand that owner. I put it on Twitter, on our Twitter too. I retweeted it, the records.
Yeah.
Harbaugh had the same record. And people were like, oh, you need to fire. I said, man, for one thing, y'all need to put some respect on Harbaugh's name. Stop playing with me.
Yeah.
Stop playing with Harbaugh, ain't going nowhere. And then just with Flores, I saw a dude put up, he was like, oh man, he started so-and-so over blank in this game, and he just making his
trying to make excuses.
Trying to make excuses for him. This is why he got fired. Nah, man, you got to keep a guy like that, you know what I'm saying, who did take, I don't feel like he took like every other coach that leave the Patriots, and it was said on the IA show, but he didn't take that Patriot, you know what I'm saying, that whole Patriot demeanor down to Miami. You can't take that down to Miami,
right?
Especially with the players that you have. You got to adjust. And that's just like, I remember just to say, Nick Saban said that this year. He said he just know how to deal with this team that he had this year. You know what I'm saying? He had to deal with this team different than what he dealt with other teams that he had in the past. Like, this is a more younger team. Got to get more of a players coach. Got to get more, You know what I'm saying? Acting with them because everybody go like nowadays, everybody questioning everything instead of just listening.
Yeah.
They be like, "Oh man, you need to do it this way," and they be like, "Why? Like why, man? Get back." That's why I be
Right.
like,
Right.
I like, get back. You don't want to listen. Like I'm trying to get you prepared. You know what I'm saying for that, but man, that's crazy, man. I just don't get the fire. Then they fired my man Cully from Houston. They just did that.
That's garbage too. Matter of fact, let me get started. I'm not going to take the whole show up, but so
go ahead, man.
Yeah, you go and fire Flores to start. I was pissed off about that. We've on the show. We both have been like outspoken about how if you can keep a locker room at 1-7 and come this close to the playoffs, you deserve. Like I don't know, you deserve your job, and it's not. He doesn't even have a good roster. Like I don't care what anybody says. He does not have that good of a roster. They're young.
Nope.
I don't care. No, that's garbage. It's not fair to go and fire him. Basically, what do you fire him for? You will never get back to never mind. I won't say never because you never know. But
never know. But
it's good. It depends who they bring in. It might take some time because they want to do some. What do you want in Miami? What do you want? Because that's what I'm trying to figure out. You go from a coach who battled last year, made the playoffs, and then this year, one game away, and kept the locker room at 1-7 and went on a seven game win streak. That's right there. That is okay. That's our guy. Or a 6-game win streak. That's our guy.
Man,
or no, 7, I think.
7. They won the last 8 out of 9.
Yeah.
That's my guy. That gotta be, man. He's a leader, man. But I feel like when they went 1-7, their owner was clocked out there. He didn't expect them to come back and win like that with all them games. And if they would have probably got to the playoffs, they probably would have still fired him, man, because the owner was already checked out when they went 1-7. And them not knowing, then him having, like, check this out. We go, and we finna go into Houston. That he had that coach had to deal with the GM and the owner talking about they want to trade for Deshaun Watson.
The whole time, whole season.
He got to keep Tua intact. Like Tua, man, like Tua's our quarterback. He's our quarterback. He got to keep coming to the media and like saying that, like it's like no respect, bro, no love, bro. That's crazy how they did Florida, like just how they did Florida. Then Houston, they have that Patriots. They got that strong chin dude up there. They from the Patriots. So I'm telling people, that's the mentality that he then took down there to Houston. Yep. They hired a coach that I think they hired a coach that they can run, they can control, you know.
Literally.
What I'm saying? And they clashed at the end of the year and they said, all right, bro, you can go. That's all it was. No, I feel like it was like they clashed at the end of the year and Cully said, man, I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna do what y'all want me to do. So and that's still a shout out to they said Gerard Mayo, he might be head candidate for that, but still Patriots. You know what I'm saying? I can see that him fitting right into that role. You know what I'm saying? That Patriots thing. But that's wild, man. How you feel about my guy Joe? You know, Joe Bama guy. You know, Joe Judge.
Oh,
you know, Judge a Bama guy. You know, he's a Bama guy.
Yeah, they got him out. That was justified. Like if Flores goes 2-15, I don't think you find many people arguing. Like, I mean, it was quick, but like, damn, he went 2-15. You know, that was bad. The fact that he won the games that he won, and you fire him, that's garbage. The Miami Dolphins are garbage. They are bums. I like their play. I kind of like the Dolphins. I just like Flores so much. I've been on here talking about him so much. I liked him, and they get him out of there. I can't root for them anymore. So then going to Houston, that shit is whack. Excuse my language. No, because you give him, I don't want to be disrespectful, an XFL roster, a practice squad roster compared to some of the other teams. Like they got some guys, Brandon Cooks, beast, but they got some guys that wouldn't even be on other teams. You give him that roster, he wins 4 games. Before the season, I'll go to Twitter and find it. Many people, including myself, probably were saying they were going to be 0-17 if Watson doesn't play. Watson doesn't play. Tyrod Taylor battles injury throughout the season. Battles injury, and then Davis Mills comes in, and now he goes 4-13. He was the scapegoat. He was all right, we're going to throw him out. They're saying Brian Flores and, like you said, Gerard Mayo. I wouldn't be opposed to that. I like I said, I like Flores a lot. And Gerard Mayo, I think would be a good option.
You know, he part of that Patriots
New England
thing.
bloodline.
So I can see Flores going to Houston as well. But I'm just like, what they gonna do with Deshaun Watson. Like, my man didn't have a franchise quarterback. My man's record would have been different.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? With
100%.
Deshaun Watson, he led the league in passing. You know what I'm saying? Before he went out with that mess, and I like that shit crazy, man. Like, bro didn't play the whole year. Like, did he want to play? Do you think Deshaun wanted to play?
No, I think he was done with Houston. I don't even think it had anything to do with Culley, because I think the reports in the summer were that Culley was doing his best to try to kind of get with Watson. I think Watson liked Culley. I just don't think he liked the front office, and I don't like him either after what happened, to be honest with you, because that's garbage. But like I said, I think their two options are good, but this is the best tweet I've ever read. People are like, man, he still made $9 million, blah, blah, blah. Imagine working as an assistant for all these years, and you finally get the opportunity to be a head coach. Do what's way more than what's expected, and then they fire you. That's garbage. That is horrible.
That's horrible.
And the Texans are the front office. The Texas front office is trash, because he won you 4 games. Yeah. He won you 4 games on a season where they at most was expected 2, and those 2 wins were probably the Jaguars. But like, you can't. And I think they lost. I think they split with the Jaguars, which is.
Yeah, they split with the Jaguars.
So they won 3 other games. That weren't expected. Like, and they beat the Titans, right? They beat the Titans at one point.
Yeah,
that's garbage. The Houston Texans front office should be ashamed of themselves, to be completely honest with you. And like I said, I guess I was gonna say who's the next candidate, but I mean,
it was so crazy. I feel like it's just crazy. Like when they saw Flores got fired, I think Houston was like, oh, we need to go get him. Like, we need to go get Flores, or we need to go. You know what I'm saying? And Culley, we gotta let you go. I bet Culley, they talking about they had differences with the offensive, you know what I'm saying, mindset, whatever. But I know they probably going at the Flores hard, you know what I'm saying? Just that GM, just that Patriots connection thing, you know what I'm saying? It ain't about what you know, about who you know now.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And then I don't feel like that owner made a good by bringing him down. That dude was like, what was he, assistant GM or director of player?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, to be the GM now. You got to run the team. Like, man, he ain't got a franchise quarterback. Y'all need to do something with Deshaun. We need to see Deshaun on the field next year. Hope we're on the field next year, doing his thing. Hope we get rid of all that BS that's going on in H-Town. You know what I'm saying? I want to stay out of H-Town with that. For real talk, that's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. Just how bro just went from leading the league in passing. I know there's a lot of bad yards, but he led the league in passing to not even playing a fucking snap. You know what I'm saying? Excuse my language. Not playing a snap this year. You know what I'm saying? It's wild, man. Just wild for everything.
Yeah, and I don't even know like what's going on with the whole situation there. Like, I haven't heard much. I think it's because it got pushed back with COVID or something. I don't know. But Watson, I don't know if he's gonna. I don't know what's going on there, but like, there's talk because Flores supposedly wanted this. Man, this is also a bullshit rumor. Supposedly Flores told Tua that they should have drafted Mac Jones. That's bullshit. That is not. I don't believe that happened. Like, I just truly don't believe it.
What?
Yes, that was yes. I know, like, an NFL reporter put that out there. I think that Miami's trying to save their asses.
Beat him. Yeah, and Tua beat him.
Yeah,
I gotta ask Omar. Omar, who the reporter down there, he be on IA. I think his name Omar. I gotta ask him because I know you probably know the inside scoop.
Yeah.
Like, what happened? I'm gonna try to get Omar on Twitter, see if we can bring him on as a special guest so he can talk about that, because that's wild. But I'm gonna say this for all the Ravens fans out there. For everybody that thinking Harbaugh going somewhere, man, do y'all understand what that man had to deal with this year? Everybody going from, I saw that thing being in first place and we dropping our last 6 man. We didn't have our quarterback. As our quarterback was there, I think we would have been different.
Yeah.
And also depleted roster, man. Everybody was hurt, man. Everybody. How your starting 2 corners hurt, the backs hurt, your line, man, just everything, man. And he gave us that season, and people talking about, oh man, we need to fight. Like, them fans are delusional, bro.
They pissed me off. They pissed me off on that one. I don't understand. Okay, you fire Harbaugh. Like, everybody's like, well, why? Say who do you bring in? Bieniemy, one of those. I love Bieniemy. I think Bieniemy's going to be a great NFL coach. Bieniemy has not proved himself as a head coach yet. He just hasn't. He's an offensive coordinator. We don't know what we'll get. And then they're saying, Harbaugh is nothing without Lamar Jackson because Harbaugh was about to get fired before Lamar played. But man, take Aaron Rodgers off the Packers. What is LaFleur? Take Tom Brady off of the Bucs. What is Bruce Arians? Because he did not do anything, not one thing before he got Tom Brady.
Not a damn thing.
Like, bro. I hate that. I really hate that it's
and he came in with the Colts, and you know who he had at quarterback with the Colts? Luck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Got to the thing. So that's why people don't understand. Like, that's why, and I want to say that's why Saban was pissed off at Miami down there, because it was during his time, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, Saban was pushing for Drew Brees to come down there as his quarterback. And they was like, the doctor was like, no, Drew Brees ain't gonna be this, he ain't gonna be that because his shoulder coming from San Diego. And y'all gave him Chad Pennington. and so my man, he wasn't feeling that. He knows that you have to have a solid, strong quarterback in the NFL to win. Now, ask Bruce. That's why they got rid of Jameis and brought in Tom. You know what I'm saying? And Jameis is a great quarterback. He just got hurt. I can't wait to see him in full throttle.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Him doing his thing. But you got to have a quarterback, man. They came out the goat mouth. You got to have a quarterback in that league. So understand it, man. If we had Hump and Peters on defense, you know what I'm saying? Everybody on defense with Hunt at quarterback. Shit, we probably gonna run that thing, but shit, you can't do everything. Like, the man competed with Green Bay.
And the thing was, we lost, or the Ravens. Excuse me, the Ravens lost the fans' argument. The Ravens lost 6 in a row. That's terrible. Basically, you need Lamar. Blah blah. There was one game in that stretch where they got blown out, and that was to the Bengals with literally I know some of them, but these fans didn't even know who the players that were playing were. And they're going to go out and bash them. Like you said, you competed with Green Bay. You competed with the Rams. The Steelers lost with a bad loss, but we don't get in the playoffs if we win. And now the Ravens have the 14th pick. So you come out, man, that's garbage. You come out and bash him in games where he competed. And the big thing, speaking of Flores in Miami, the guys didn't quit on him. They stayed in the locker room. In most of these games, or not most of them, but a few of them, the Ravens battled back, and that shows the guys aren't quitting on you. The guys like playing for you. Look, LeBron played for him. He played for him and has spoke about it. But these fans didn't. He played for him and has told you, man.
Dude is a leader, man. Like, you could tell just from it. If you meet his father, like you met his dad, like, you know what I'm saying. You can see that the thing just trickled down, like to his sons. Like, dude is a leader, man. And I don't see no other coach, you know what I'm saying, a step forward, and he probably would have blamed everything. Oh man, my roster. I bet Harbaugh didn't say nothing about that roster. Not one time. He's like, hey, what's next? What we got to do? What advantage can we take this week? You know what I'm saying? What advantage can we take this week? Because they're in games with the Packers. That's why I said the Packers defense got to show up in these playoffs, or they gonna get their ass beat.
That's what I said. The Packers are
Packers they gonna have to show up, or they gonna get beat. They're gonna get beat because the Ravens drove down. I mean, with the players that we had on offense, with our backup quarterback, and offense should have beat y'all. If we don't, like, he man kick that thing. You know, so we going into overtime. Hey, we beat. I feel like they beat them. The Rams the same way. People want to say, man, and that defense that they had out there versus the Rams, you know what I'm saying, did their thing. So man, people could go on, man. Y'all fans, just chill, man. Y'all gotta understand, man. This man been there for years now. And y'all really just trying to, you know what I'm saying, take the thing. Y'all need to talk about, you know what I'm saying, like, don't talk about the coach. He might talk about them coordinators.
Yeah, I agree. Harbaugh's not the play caller. Like, Greg Roman, y'all know how I feel about Greg Roman. I think he should be gone. But Harbaugh is not the play caller, like in some other spots. I think Staley calls plays for the Chargers. But, like, there's teams where you can come out and say, bash the head coach for the play calling. I really don't think you can in Baltimore because Harbaugh does not call plays. Obviously, he's the head man. What he says goes, but we know how Harbaugh has been in his time. That's one thing I love about Harbaugh. When after a game, when the Ravens go and lose in a tough matchup, it's I gotta be better. We lost in all 3 phases. Like, I gotta be better. The guys played hard, blah, blah, blah. I like that because you see teams Vic Fangio and the Broncos. We already bashed him earlier for what he did after the Ravens rushing play. That's garbage by him. Yeah. But Vic Fangio after the season said they asked him a question. I can't exactly get a quote for quote. But they asked him a question about quarterback play or whatever. And he basically came out and said, these other teams have good quarterbacks. We got Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock. Harbaugh would never say no.
You feel me? Like that was trash. That's why I said,
Yes.
Vic, you supposed to got fired, man. Like,
Yeah.
and then Zimmer, what Zimmer said about the draft pick with Miles.
Yeah.
Oh, I seen him in practice. Like, bro, he been playing scout team, man. Come on, man. Looking like the other quarterback. You can't do that to your players, and now you're gone. And he said, mine's still there, and you're gone, Zimmer.
Yeah, right. Right. I don't know why people think that we should go. Why you think the Ravens should go out and get a head coach who is, I mean, I guess some people like people being honest, but like it's the NFL. The media will literally tear a locker room apart with one story, with one video, anything.
Thanks.
A guy like Harbaugh, he's just not phased. Harbaugh easily could have came out and said, Tyler Huntley balled this year in a lot of games. I love Tyler Huntley. I think he should be the backup moving forward, but he did have some struggles. Like the Rams game, the interception hurt. The Steelers game, he had a few big mistakes. Harbaugh, if he's one of those coaches, Harbaugh comes out and says, Tyler Huntley really hurt us. It hurts. We don't have our starting quarterback, Lamar. No, what did he do? Comes out and says, man, we don't have Lamar this week, but we fully trust Tyler Huntley. Game plan is not going to change. We trust Tyler Huntley. How does that feel to be Tyler Huntley in that situation? All right, coach, trust me. Coach isn't bashing me. I got to get better, blah, blah. Okay, and imagine me and Drew Lock or Teddy Bridgewater right now. Man, that bitch-ass coach just came out and said that. All right, we don't want to play for him. So, excuse my language, but who wants to play for Vic Fangio if he ever gets – he should never get another job, don't get me wrong. But if he gets another job,
I don't know
who wants to play for
Vic Fangio. Like, he going to really come out and say that. But I think he already knew he was out the door. That is a top-notch, you know what I'm saying, organization. They had to get bro out of there, man. Get somebody else in there that can control the locker room, that can lead men. You know what I'm saying? Just like Coach Huff said, like it's different from the NFL to college. And in the league, you got 53 individual contracts, you know what I'm saying? But it's all one. But really, you got 53 individual contracts, and you got to just do your thing. And college is different, you know what I'm saying? You just got a group of men that you got to lead, develop, and get ready, man. My man developed Saquon Barkley, man. Yeah. Come on, man. He recruited Saquon Barkley. Man, shout out to Coach Huff again, man. Shout out to Coach Huff for the interview, man. That was hard, man. Like, I'm so ready for people to see that. Like, man, Saquon Barkley, Najee Harris, them two of the backs that he developed. You know what I'm saying? And I know this the thing that's so crazy. He had Brian Robinson in there too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In the room, you know what I'm saying? With Najee, and like I could imagine like how his running back room. I wish I would have asked him like how was the running back room at Bama, you know what I'm saying, just with all the players. But I know it was crazy, man. Again, man, that interview was off the chain, man. I really appreciate that today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, shout out to you, Coach. But that is it for the episode. You know, we just had to come at some of these decisions for the coaches.
We had like it's just crazy how they just. Man, just love you one day, next day you're gone. Man.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And just end on this note, like don't throw your players under the bus, man.
No.
Especially when we're in an organization together. Y'all know how ins and outs a week goes. Sometimes you gotta have how we like look at like you would have thought anything in the world that the coach would have went down there and dogged, you know what I'm saying, Jacksonville, and Jacksonville came out with new energy and everything. Everybody looked good, you know what I'm saying, versus the coach. So something they could build on for the off season, man. But man, everybody tuned in, man. We appreciate y'all, man. Keep subscribing, keep liking, keep sharing. We bring y'all this heat every week now. We getting better. We getting better. We getting better.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we're getting guests on. Next week. I'm not even going to announce it yet because we'll announce it during next week. But we got an extremely big guest coming on next week for sure. Well, two actually, because he's both him and his coworker and another big person in that game are coming on with us on Thursday. But like I said, like we're bringing good guests on. We're doing interviews, man. Tune in, follow us, subscribe. I'm gonna let LeRon do what he always says. But
hey, man, we might have this gear coming. The gear is coming, man. Yeah. Just know, man, we got hoodies coming. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be able to buy it off our YouTube page. You know what I'm saying? Subscribe to our page. You'll be able to buy off of it. I'll probably give away about 5 on free when they come in, man, to the people, to our most listeners, man. I know I'm gonna send one to all our fans that be locked in since day one, man. But again, everybody, we appreciate y'all. Our form, baby. You know how we do it.
Yes, sir.